Doing a video. Right. This is actually a positive video. Right. My baby, right, from when tiny, everybody knew that my child was going to make it, that my child was going to be something special and unique. Definitely special and unique. Right. Normal children, when at tiny school, right, they just want to go play, and they probably like don't want to learn or whatever, right, because they're too busy being little kids, right? My child was so unique, right? He'd want to read the newspaper. He'd want to watch the news or watch QVC channels and learn all about pans and all sorts of things, you know. It absorbs so much different information, but in a positive, good way. And like I say, there is no excuses if you've got, you know, disabilities, because there is like famous people that have autism, right? And I know Einstein is one of them, and he created some amazing, he had autism. And there's lots of other people out there that have had autism. There's different spectrums of it. The same as dyslexia or other things. There's different spectrums. But when you've got ones that really want to learn, right, it's like the teachers and everything I've met along my travels have been fantastic. You know, even all the other mums was like, oh, I can't believe it. Your child's like a little old man trapped in a child's body. It's fantastic, you know. And that's down to because I brought him up the right way. I brought him up on such an old code for all the right reasons, because you get remarkable human beings that turn out and achieve great things for all the right reasons in life. Yeah? So I never forgot my morals. I never forgot any of that, or where I come from or nothing like that. But unfortunately, I have dyslexia. And my dyslexia is a bit different, right? So when you think of it like this, quiet please. When you think of it like this, right? In my time, you was told you're either a normal child, you're dyslexic, or you're disabled. That's how we got spoke to in my time of growing up, yeah? We didn't have half of the knowledge of what we got today about ADHD, autism, this, that and the other, so on, you know. It's come a long way, but we've still got a long way to go. Because I don't want people to sit there and think, oh yeah, you know, just because you've got problems, we're going to sit you over there and ignore you, and we're going to teach the other ones. Because that annoyed me when I was growing up, because I thought, God, I'm trying my hardest, I'm doing everything I can. And back in my time, it was like the teachers had favourites. Or maybe it was their parents were a little bit more, oh, you know, pay a bit more attention and I'll help you out or something. But nowadays, things has changed a lot. Yeah? And what I'm trying to say is, I never failed my child just because I couldn't do something. But if you talk to me, I'll talk to you. Right? I can hear what you're saying. It's like I had to do speech therapy, learn how to talk, the vibrations, in a different way of how to say it, because sometimes I can't pronounce words, save my life. Do you know how much hard work it is? And it took me just to be able to talk like I do today, to speak back and put the words together. Because when I was a child, I used to mimic. I was like, well, somebody would say, oh, say that, and I'd say what they say me to say. Little did I know I was getting myself in trouble when it should have been them getting in trouble for it. And I was like, what? I couldn't understand, done nothing wrong. And it was only because I learned that, bloody hell, I need to learn how to put words together. I need to learn how to speak, yeah? And that was a very difficult task, let alone the learning side of it. But anyways, forget about me for the moment. What I'm trying to say is, in today, when it's been my child in the school, and this is why the school and the parents and everybody love me and my boy, right? because we're decent human beings, yeah? And the fact is, I stand up and I'm like, look, I can teach my baby all these things that I know, but when I need help, I put my hands up. I'm like, I go and talk to the teachers. I'm like, right, I need some help, please. You know, and the teachers were fantastic. You know, absolutely fantastic. Even if there was some incident that went on in the school with my child or somebody else's child or whatever else, I'd talk to the parents and we would have it out on a conversation. And that way we gained respect as well for each other. I didn't sit there befriending everybody in a way like, oh, because I know you're in school, we're going to be friends outside of school. Because I learnt from this through other people that had children, that if something goes wrong outside of school, then your kids have got to then go to school, and then they've got all that happening in school, which they don't need on top of their learning, if it all goes wrong from being friends with the parents outside of school. So my motto and my rules was that when I go to school, I'm dropping my child off. If I need to speak to the teachers or the other parents, I'll speak to them when needed. Other than that, it gets left in school. I leave the school with my child. I go home. We do the homework. We do the routine of dinner. We do all of that. Get prepped and ready. Story time for bedtime. You know, get ready for bed and do the same thing again. Even when, and it's true though, unfortunately, my child's real father had one too many children, couldn't look after them all, let alone himself. And there's no excuses, because look at me and my baby, what we've achieved with the school, with other parents, you know, and it's turned out fantastic. You know, it was like, luckily because I've got different needs, we was on a school trip one day, going off the subject a little bit, we was on a school trip one day, and there was another child, she couldn't talk at all, right? But I could see the frustration in what she was trying to do and say. And luckily, because I got other skills that some other people don't have, I knew how to talk to the girl and get the information out of her, even though she couldn't speak. Because the lady that was with her, that was the carer helping on the trip with the other parents and the teachers, unfortunately, I could see she was getting a little bit frustrated. It was getting a little bit too much. And this poor little girl with needs obviously was getting a bit frustrated. I think I get frustrated too if someone's not listening to me or don't understand me and I'm trying to talk to them in another way. So like, I learned to help the other lady that was the carer and help the little girl that needed the help, because I knew what she was trying to do. And I made her stop crying. I took her frustration away. And I was like, right, we're going to play a game. I called her by her name. I said, right, what I want you to do is think of some flowers that we're going to pick on the way back from the trip for your mum or your dad. And we're going to collect those flowers. So I made it into something fun but educational along the way to help take her mind off her frustration, but also make something enjoyable and fun. And then I replaced it with something positive. And I was like, right, we're going to pick these flowers. See those ones over there? Right, let's get them. I get her to pick the flowers. Then I think of something else along the journey, along the way, on the way back. And I was like, right, I'll tell you what, how about we get a paper? And she was like, okay. I said, they do girl star signs in there. We can read those, if you like, when we get back together. So we've picked up the free paper along the way off the train station. And then I said, oh, right, we've got some more flowers over there. So we made it a game. But also positive, took away frustration. She wasn't crying anymore. And I also got a thank you from the carer. Because either maybe she was having a bad day, because I know she was a fantastic carer, but I think she was just having maybe a bad day outside of her job. And I just helped. And that's what you do. And I'm not going to put the carer down, because she is a good carer. But I think she was, maybe something outside was happening in her own life, poor love. But after that, she thanked me, and I said, no, it's all right. I could see that you needed a bit of help. I know, it's okay. And then the little girl was like, oh, thank you, like, you know. And then her parents turned up and goes, quick, go and give your mum, like, your flowers. And she was like, oh, running up to her mum, going to get flowers. And, you know. But I think this is what made the experience fantastic and great, because not only do I put my hands up if I need help, I ask for it, yeah, but at the same time, I had that fantastic communication with the school, with my child, even with the parents, you know, with their children. If there was something up, then I'll be like having words and we'd talk it through. It's like sometimes there was some incidents went on that the school didn't want to tell the parents, but I thought, no, if that was my child or somebody else's child, the parents need to know, because otherwise, how are you going to fix this? So in a way, we all helped each other, and it was nice because not only did we have the teachers and the parents and our children, we was all together through all of those years doing exactly the same thing, but it was because it took me as one person, quiet, me as one person with special needs as well and all that, to speak my mind, and I used the words right. And believe me, it took me a long time to use words to express how I feel, think, what I hate, what I like, you know, what I'm disgusted in, all sorts of things. And it didn't stop there in little school. I went into big school and luckily, you know, got into another fantastic placement there. And everybody was fantastic at that school. And it might have been a religious school. I mean, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious, but I'm a great believer in different parts of religions, just not all of it. But, you know, I still like that school because, you know, I say, not strict is a word, but discipline, but in the right way, yeah? So it makes the children learn better, you know, like an old school, old fashioned way. And it was brilliant there, absolutely brilliant. So it wasn't about going to town and just being nasty all the time to the children. It wasn't like that. It's discipline and using it in the right form of way with students and people's children, and getting them to thrive in learning. And that is why I loved it there, and so did my child, and so did many other people's families and children, right? But sometimes used to get a new teacher, and it's not their fault, you know, everybody has their different way of teaching students. But unfortunately, there was a year where they had one teacher that was new, and all the children couldn't thrive or learn from this in particular teacher that was new that started. And unfortunately, they might have the education to be a teacher and have that knowledge, but their communications with the whole class of children learning, unfortunately, wasn't good with the communication skills of relaying that information to a class full of students. So unfortunately that year, when it came to their grades, the whole lot of children didn't do very well at all, right? But that's because sometimes you get these odd teachers and you get ones that are better with communication, with their education of teaching students. And then now and again you get these new ones that come and join that are not so good at communicating their knowledge onto children, unfortunately. And we did have a lot of words about this in particular teacher. But we never put the teacher down. None of the parents or students put them down. But we did have words about, well, hang on a minute, they've lost out on a whole year of learning in one subject because you're lacking in teaching them. And we went in as soon as, I mean, it weren't just my child, there was lots of children that didn't learn that year from that one subject and that one teacher because wasn't very good at, you know, putting that information on to all the students from all different students, yeah? So just because my child's got autism and that, and then you've got normal students without, it was the whole students, yeah, that wasn't absorbing this information properly. So unfortunately that was just something that happens, and sometimes now and again that does happen. But looking at it from another point of view, the following year they got another teacher who was much better, and they did know how to communicate better on the subject when teaching the children, which was great. But like I'll say to any teacher out there, don't give up on the students. They're there to learn, right? And my motto is that if your way with your knowledge ain't working and not absorbing it, then find another way around it, break it down and make it fun learning. Yeah? Because sometimes fun learning or rhymes and stuff like that, or when you make it fun and positive, students learn better. But sometimes you do need to give them a little kick up the backside and say, you know, because this was another thing my child used to do, because he always wants to learn. He's fantastic on that. I can't knock him. I'm very blessed to have a good kid. He wants to learn, right? No matter against all the odds, he wants to learn. But we used to have this conversation a lot with a lot of teachers, which would be, they would ask him to do what they asked him to do, and he would do it, right? But he would also want to go all around it and do some other bits as well to do about that just one thing they asked him to do. So I used to say to my child, you don't need to do all that. They're just asking to do the one bit you've done, right? You've done it, but you don't need to do all this other bit. And he goes, yeah, but I know. And it's an autistic trait. So if he wants to learn and do the bit you've asked him to do and everything around it, don't knock him for it, God's sake. Because then that means he's doing more than he should be doing, but he's learning a bit more, you know. And like I say, but sometimes you get these odd teachers that are better at teaching students with their knowledge because they have a way of that they're absorbing the information but also relaying it onto the students for them to pick it up, enjoy the learning and learn it. But it's not all about making it all fun and games. Yeah, sometimes make it fun, fair enough. But make sure it involves learning in the subject or the education that you're doing in your class, right? And then also, you've got to remember all students, don't matter if they've got autism or whatever else, even normal students, sometimes they need a little just kick up the arse. You've got to be like a parent in a way. So you're like playing mum and dad role as well as teaching them in learning. So imagine if you looked at your class of students and you think, right, these are all my children, and pretend in your mind that these are all your own children in your classroom, and you want them to succeed and you want them to thrive and learn, and you want to give them all that knowledge of all that amazing hard work of knowledge that you're one of the blessed people to have that information all about on these subjects, and relay it on all of these children, pretend they're yours, right? And get them to thrive. Give your knowledge to them. Be excited, passionate and driven about it. And it's like some don't make it into college, university or whatever else. But if they do make it into there, bloody hell, find a way to get them to absorb that knowledge. Even if your way ain't working, then find another way around it, break it down. And if trial and error, if that don't work, then find another way that works, that they absorb that information that you're teaching them. Because goddamn, they work so bloody hard to get into uni, education or so on. They've worked really hard to get there. And if you've got a load of students that really want to learn, right, don't fail them. Because when they're younger, it's like certain opportunities, they only get one shot to do it. And then after that, it's like ifs and buts of what's going to happen next. We all know that. But don't fail the ones that are in your classroom and they fought to be there, work bloody hard to be there. And you know which ones don't want to be there because they'll be like in the corner going, go away, or they won't be turning up. Or they'll be flunking or saying, you know. But what I'm saying is there's other reasons behind that. You get some that are too high educated and think, oh, I don't need this, I'm so better. And then they start flunking. Or you get them other ones that can't do it. They've tried and tried and tried. So you know that they're the real genuine ones with different needs. So when you've got a classroom, don't matter if it's in little school, big school, university, college, whatever, you're getting paid to be a teacher. There's a reason for that, because you passed and you worked bloody hard to be your teachers in all your areas. So thrive, for God's sake, and put your knowledge upon all these children that you pretend are your babies, because you're the one helping train them up, teach them for the rest of their lives where they're going to end up, where they're going to be. And that's a massive achievement, because when you think about how many children, right, that you achieve that with, God damn, mate, you need medals, you need praise, you need like ceremonies or something. Really, like chocolates, flowers. I mean, I couldn't emphasise it enough. I think you really need a pick-me-up for doing that achievement with so many children. But if you ain't got passion and drive in your job as a teacher, then maybe it's not the right job for you. But like I say, don't give up. Don't give up teaching, because clearly if you're already in a teaching job somewhere, there's a reason behind it, because you passed the grades. You've got the knowledge and the grades to be one. It's not about, oh, well, I'll get paid at the end of the week. Oh, just another lot this week, another lot that week, this month, this year. Don't fail them. Because the whole point of when they're in learning, yeah, is that you're trying to save as many as you can to be great things, accomplish amazing things, yeah? It's like when you've got children that are there that want to learn, God damn, don't fail them. Don't fail them ones that want to learn, because otherwise, all education, people will be like, well, what's the point of it? Why are we paying you to be teachers? We could look at this from another point of view, but I don't want to go there. Because right now, I've had fantastic experiences when it comes to my child in learning. So, at the end of the day, what I'm saying, it's not about, if a child, this is something that used to happen, if a child, right, says, right, I don't understand what you've just said, but I need your help, I want to learn, can you explain it? But you're explaining it, but you're not explaining it in the right way. So you could be going, for instance, let's just do it like this. You got a tree, so you go, right, we've got a tree, want you to draw a tree, right? But they don't understand what a tree is, they might have never seen a tree before, or don't know how to draw, or whatever, right? Oh, that's maybe a bad example, but we'll just carry on with that one for a minute. You get the drift, just go with it. Right, and then what happens is the children are all like, well, we don't know what we're doing, we don't understand it. But you're just saying that word tree, right? But they need more information than just a tree. So then you need to find a way to break it down to your students and say, right, well, we've got a tree, we've got a lake, we've got birds. Oh, well, you know, when the sun comes down, it helps it grow. Then you've got the birds that eat the snails. I'm using animals and outside, right? But you get what I'm saying. So you're breaking it down, but you're giving that information in such a way, like what do birds do? Birds don't just fly. Birds breed. They're beautiful, different colours. They have different mating rituals depending on the breeds of them. They all serve a purpose in different ways. Some go on the lakes, some fly, some, you know, you get chickens that graze or whatever. So you could be here all day. You've got emus, but you get what I'm saying. So when you're teaching, don't matter what subject you're teaching, you can't just go, it's a tree, because your students like a tree. I'm a bit confused. What are we supposed to do? And you can't go then sit back at your desk and then start looking at the clock and go, right, oh, well, none of you've done anything. Oh, well, that's all wrong. It's only because they ain't done anything, or it's all wrong, because you are supposed to be the teacher. And if they come up to you throughout that time in your class going, well, I need your help, don't understand what this tree thing's about. You're just saying about a tree and that's it. Don't understand what you want us all to do. And if one student's doing it, but the whole students are doing it, then that's telling you it's not the students. It's because you're losing your thrive or your way of that day in your classroom to just go, well, it's a tree. So really what you need to be doing is going, right, okay, my students, they're all not doing it, so I now need to find another way to break it down. So then you go back to what I was saying, using an example. Probably not a very good one, but I'm trying to use it in that way. But so then you've got like the lake, the grass, you've got all the different animals of a night time or the daytime when the sun's up. You get different night animals, you get day animals, yeah? But it's like different ways of doing it. Even technology. You guys have got the knowledge about it. So break it down. Make it fun. It's the same as other things like, I don't know, you've got trains or buses or something. Some people are into all of that. And that's because you get night ones, day ones, different shapes, colours, different ages, from way back to the ones today, the shapes and models, types, like planes as well. How many used to be able to go in there to go fly in a plane, or how many you get today, or the system's changed a lot from when it once was in the medieval times. You know, making a joke out there. But don't fail the ones you got as students. Because if they're there, they must be worked bloody hard to get there. And that ain't no word of a lie. Because someone who ain't worked hard to get there, or wouldn't dream to be in places like that, but can't even do it because they're too special with different things going on, because there's different spectrums of it in special needs, then, you know, that's not their fault, right? On that side of it. But the other side of it, well, we'll leave that there, but you get what I'm saying. But when you've got students in where they're at, believe me, they have worked bloody hard to be where they are, right? And unfortunately, I'm a different kettle of fish. That ain't about me, yeah? Because my way of learning is a different complete kettle of fish to, say, for instance, my child or the person down the road or what. Mine's totally different. So never compare me to my own child or somebody else, because we're all individual human beings, right? We all have rights, yeah? That's how that works. And we all have our own voices and our own say. And sometimes truth, people don't like it. Tough, blunt, autism, get over it, yeah? But other people, just because they've got special needs, but they've made it somewhere in a certain education field, don't knock them, because there's a reason why they're there, yeah? Because they are on a different spectrum and they're clever in other ways, yeah? God damn, I had to pinch myself many a times about my child. I couldn't believe the intellect on it. I was like, oh, what's he talking about? Bloody hell. I mean, the things he would talk about in history and science and computer, God knows what. And it's like, wow. And I just, whoa, it really like amazed me. I mean, we used to have a differ on history, but that's because from what I learned about history, I don't like it. But I understand when they're younger, it's part of, they need to know where they came from way back to where they come today to understand the dots to, do you see what I'm saying? So in their learning of how things have changed and where we are today. But myself, history, I hate it. We used to have a lot of debates on this, me and my child. I mean, obviously he was passionate and driven about it because that's his thing, but we would differ on that. And that's because history to me is a past. And I hate people that keep looking back in history of the past, but they're not actually in it today. So I'm thinking, oh my God. And then I think, well, if you was in another country, I'd understand why you're talking like that. But when you're in a different country, well, no, I don't understand why you're talking like that. And there's a lot of things that you're talking about, yeah, it might have happened way back to somebody, but it ain't you. You weren't born in a time of that. But yet you carry it on and drag it on. So to me, that's like, no, I don't like history. So we'd be here all day talking about that, and I don't even want to talk about it, right? But when it comes to my child, wanting to learn about it, he thrives, he loves it, he's interested in it. That's his passion and drive. That ain't mine. So I'm not going to knock him for it, because that's what makes him a human being, an individual of who he is as a character of his own. Yeah? It's like, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because I've got some things that people are like, you talk to me. You talk to me, trust me, we'll have a great conversation. I'll get your brain ticking. And when I think about, just because I can't achieve and do certain things, when I think about the goodness that has come out of the achievements that I've been doing, not just with my own child, or people's, or other people, or ex-partners, whatever. When I think about some of them, God, some of them didn't have much. And I achieved giving them that support they were lacking. And then they got jobs now, they drive. Mind you, there is some naughty things in that I disagree with. But at the same time, it's like, I can't believe some of the stuff that I've achieved. And I might be a bit special in areas, right? But I ain't freaking dumb. So I don't appreciate people talking to me like that. Because I tell you now, I'll read you. I'll read your body language, I will. And that's something else I've learned. But that's through learning everything. I've got to admit, I've learned a lot of things the hard way, but that was a bit slower in some ways years ago. But then, in a way, it's a gift. Because in some areas, I mean, for instance, body language is like some gift, isn't it? Because I can tell without you even speaking to me if you're lying to me or not. Right? And that's quite a gift and a skill in itself to be able to do it. But I can actually say I've never used certain stuff like that for bad things. I've only ever done it to protect the ones that are real and genuine to the ones that ain't. And the ones that ain't, when I find out, God damn, you're gone, I don't want to know. I ain't got time for people like that. But when I've got time for people that are really genuine, that need help, and if I can do it, then I'm bloody well going to do it. You know, I'm going to help. And I might not be the richest person in the world, but I'm still going to do my bit. Because it's people like myself and other people and teachers and other parents and so forth. You know, even the good children that are trying, you know. It's not that they're all goody-goodies. When I think about my child and other people's children, they've worked bloody hard to be where they're at. Against all odds. And it's like saying, people might have done all these corrupt things or whatever, and I found out about it, connected dots, and I'm not impressed. At the same time, I've not relayed that on my child. I've not told my child about these things. For all the right reasons, because that's not in my beliefs. I don't want my child being brought up on that. I don't want my child knowing about that. For all the right reasons. And that's because I don't want them to start thinking, well, if there's other ones out there doing it, it's a way of life. Or the ones out there doing it that shouldn't be, oh, it's a way up. Or if the ones that are doing it, well, I can be a flanker. Or the ones that are doing it, oh, I can join them and have an easy ride. Nah, there's people out there that don't have a choice in it. Yeah, they don't want to be there, but they've got no choice. And to them other ones out there doing it, that disgust me, I don't even want to call human beings. There's no excuses. But like I say, I have never ever, I brought my son up on the old code. The right way, the old school, old-fashioned way. For all the right reasons. Because that was the best code. And that's because before all this technology stuff, God, technology weren't even about so much when I grew up. You got them big brick house phones or whatever it was. God, them things were massive. Remember them with the funny little aerial things on? Oh, God. Oh, you're going back now. Or like when we had black and white TVs. You was lucky to have a TV, and then they come along with colour TV. Or the house phones, remember on the wires? Or like, you knew if you went out to play, when the street light come on, you had to go indoors. So, yeah. I mean, I'm a bit old myself, but it's like, oh, I can't believe it. I respected a lot of the elders, because a lot of the elders are the ones that I felt most safe around. And I learnt a lot, and I thought they were fantastic, but at the same time, you know, life changes and things change. But, yeah, no. This talk is just about bigging up all the ones that are doing their jobs properly. But also, don't forget that you're something like, God, I don't want to say it, but you're like some of the gods out there, in a way. It's true though, isn't it? Part of the gods out there in the world. Because you play your part of what happens to these impressionable children throughout their life in education. That's quite a big deal, right? So when us parents ain't allowed to be with our children, do what we got to do, right? It's good that we got that communication going, because then that means we're going to do great and achieve great, amazing things, isn't it? I wish there was more people around the world like us, to be fair. We would definitely, yeah. But no, like what I'm saying, yeah, is find your passion and your drive. Don't give up, is what I'm saying. Because if you all give up, then what's the point of any jobs? What's the point? Then everyone might as well just not work, go back to medieval times, do away with money and paper. You'll have to grow your own food, kill your own animals, livestock to eat it. You know, electricity, well, whatever, it'll either be free or go out the window. Do you know what I mean? So you could see this, where this is going to go. But like I said, I know there's still people, real people out there, proven that many a times of late. When I stood up, the people stood by me. And we made a big difference. That was nice to see. Because I ain't had that for a little while. All I've seen is like poverty, nastiness, horrible. And I think the amount of people that I know that ain't like that, I think, thank God there's still some people about that are all right. And then when I think about the other ones, I think, oh God, no, we don't want no more of them. So, there we go. Right, well, this is what that video was about. Keep up the good work. Remember, you are appreciated for what you do. And don't think you ain't. I know there might be some days where you think, oh, no one acknowledges me. I just come to work, do my job, get paid. Oh, another lot to do, da, da, da. When I was at work, I made work fun. I tell you, I put smiles on everybody's faces. There was loads of people who were talking to me about certain things. I think, that ain't right, what? I made a big difference even when I was there. I put positivity everywhere. I made people smile. I changed the way they were thinking and feeling to positive and other ways. I'll tell you what, everybody loved me. I miss a lot of them, to be fair. Really do, but unfortunately things happen in life and it changes. And sometimes you don't get a choice in it. But, like I say, I definitely achieved a hell of a lot when I was at work. Yeah, I'm quite proud of myself. I'm going to pat myself on the back. And that's what you should be doing. But it's not always about acknowledgement, even though it'd be nice. But just remember your worth. Your worth as people. And remember, you're the real ones. Don't forget that. Keep up the good work. Because believe me, if I thought for a second that you were doing something wrong, or you was doing something that not in my beliefs, I'll be doing a different kind of video. And we don't want one of them. Right? But my videos ain't about horrible things. Well, some of them are actually. But to be fair, it's long overdue that needs talking about. And everybody knows it. It's like this dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about, but we all know it's happening and it's out there. And all I do is I say the truth of it all, that you're all itching to do or say or whatever. And I've just done it for you. And so what? I'm a special needs kid. I don't care. If that's what it takes for someone like me to do it, oh, she'll get away with it because she's a special needs kid. So what? I done it. I done it for all of you. I spoke up, said truth. Long overdue for change. Right ways change. We all know it. But some things are not what I think. Anyways, we're not going to go talking about other stuff right now, but you know what I'm saying. This is a positive video, okay? And if I thought for a second you was doing something wrong, I'll be coming down, and you would be meeting me, and we would be having big conversations, right? But this video is positive. I don't have bad words to say. So keep up the good work. All teachers around the world, don't give up on learning. And to the other ones that are still thriving and they're still passionate about their jobs, remember to pass a bit of that positivity and drive onto the ones that are sort of losing their faith or their drive or their passion for what they're really educated and amazing and can do. Pick each other up when you're at work as teachers or whatever from all places of learning, of education. Sometimes if you see someone who's having a bit of struggle outside of work from being a teacher or wherever they're at, go, are you all right? Would you like to have a chat? Because sometimes there might be something with a bit of depression or something's going on in their life. Someone might have died. Something else might have happened. You know, just say, oh, are you all right? If you see a teacher that's down, say, you all right? Want to have a cup of tea? Have a time out, put the kettle on, you know. And trust me, a cup of tea, oh, mate, or if you're a coffee drinker, fair enough. But a cup of tea goes a long way when you just need someone to sit there and chat to you. Or even if they need a hug. Because I'll tell you what, when I was at work, I enjoyed my hugs. Only certain people was allowed to do that to me, but that's different because we were friends. But them hugs meant so much to me. You know. But like I say, you think about other people out there. Just that hug, or put the kettle on. Or just that little bit of chat. Even if it ain't talking about whatever's on their mind, or what's going on in their life, if someone's died or whatever. Just have a cup of tea and a chat about the weather. Or maybe if they've got a car or something, talk about their car. Or, you know, talk about what their passions or drives about. Or even talk about yourself to take their mind off what they're thinking about. You know, or talk about, I don't know, snooker, activities, board games or something. Board games, I think they should bring them back and put them in staff rooms or people's offices and things like that. Because on their breaks, they're doing positive things, playing board games together instead of attacking each other. Because I did that at work, and there was a lot of positivity when I took these board games in, card games, tarot cards. I've done quite a few things. Because I saw a lot of negative activities going on where maybe they worked together too many years, had enough of each other, but still worked in the same place. And then they was attacking each other, and I was like, what's going on here? And then I thought, what? I don't want to talk about what I've seen and what's going on, but I'm going to bring ball games in. And I did do that, and it bloody well worked. Then I was talking about ball games, there were smiles, everyone was happy, it was fantastic. But then I made the workplace better for everybody. And that's what I'm saying. So just my little bit of, I'm going to say fairy dust, of being Mother Savage. Some positivity comes out of me too. But like I say, anything that I think needs talking about, then I will raise it and I will say it, but for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. And yeah, I love people from all walks of life, but when you get them ones that are not the right ones, I ain't going to be sitting there praising you. I ain't going to be sitting there bigging you up or nothing. Well, I've got to go. This was my positive video. We went a bit here, there and everywhere, but that's an autism thing again. That's a bad habit. I can't even get myself out of that. That's autistic. And a bit dyslexic as well, so it's like a way of trying to, yeah. Anyways, right, you get what I'm saying? Right, I'm off out of there. Mwah. Keep up the good work.